Ladies and gentlemen, the day is finally here. The Boston Celtics are finally back after their week-long All-Star break, and they take on the Chicago Bulls this tonight. But we have some big news revolving around Xavier Tillman as he is off the injury report and could be making his Celtics debut tonight. We'll be diving in on how impactful he could be for this team and what his role will be with this Boston Celtics roster. Also be diving in, looking at Derrick White being one of the clutchest players in the NBA, and Jaylen Brown being an effective post mid-range finisher. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. But before we dive in on this Boston Celtics content, 78% of you guys are not subscribed. We would greatly appreciate it if you hit that big old red subscribe button, join the Celtics Digest family, and helped us out. There's thousands of you guys that watch our videos every single day. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on the daily Boston Celtics content coverage like this video, hit the subscribe button as you definitely will not regret it. Let's dive into the news at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack as it is going to be a jam-packed episode. As we dive in looking at the first topic, which talks about Derrick White in clutch. Now, personally, in my honest opinion, I think Derrick White is the clutchest player for this Celtics team. He really comes alive in that fourth quarter, and we've seen a plethora of times where Derrick White has had a slump in the second and third quarter. In that fourth quarter, that three-point shooting turns up a notch, and he is absolutely fantastic and wins the Celtics plenty of games. And we've got a tweet here from Taylor Snow going over that, saying that Derrick White has played 83 clutch minutes this season without committing a single turnover. Zero. He's also an NBA best at plus 75 in clutch time minutes. Derrick White's clutch stats are 48 points, shooting 56% from the field, 50% from three, with 100% from free throw. Also, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 blocks, 1 steal, and plus 75 in 83 minutes with 0 turnovers. That is an insane stat to see out of a guy who was left out of the top 100 of the ESPN's list at the beginning of this year. It's clear that Derrick White recognized he was an underappreciated guard, undervalued in the NBA, wanted to live to the expectations he had set in him from his college days. And man, Derrick White is proving everybody wrong in the NBA. We want to look at these stats one more time. You can see 8 assists, 5 blocks, like I mentioned, 50% shooting from the three, and 56% shooting from the field goal with 0 turnovers. That is absolutely insane. You don't even see some of the top guards like Trae Young, Damian Lillard, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson even do this type of stuff. This is why Celtics fans were preaching Derrick White could be an all-star this year. Even though he didn't have the legacy credits of the hype around his name, he definitely had the stats to back it up. Let me know what you guys think about Derrick White in the comment section down below. He's honestly been one of my favorite Celtics players this season, and he's really turned a new leaf on me. But let's keep diving in, looking at some more Celtics news, looking at Jaylen Brown is efficient. And you guys might be concerned and questioning why this is the chapter or why this is the title, because a lot of Celtics fans seem to hate on Jaylen Brown, seem to think he's not efficient. They think he's not a primary scorer. They hate on how he dribbles. They hate how he goes at the rim. Man, Jaylen Brown excels in the way that he works his offense. He may not be the best three-point shooter, but that man can slash and get to the rack. And especially if he's playing defense, he can also guard the team's best scorer. There's a lot of qualities that Jaylen Brown brings to the Celtics team that Celtics fans don't see on the stat sheet every single night. So when they see Jaylen Brown have a lackluster game or not an important game, they tend to freak out and get very frustrated. But Jaylen Brown excels in certain things that you don't see on the stat sheet. And one of those things is this. Jaylen Brown is shooting a 54.3% on fadeaway jumpers this season. Most efficient of player with more than 50 fadeaway field goals attempted. JB's tough shot making and transition scoring continues to be top class. Now, Jaylen Brown, I won't lie, like I mentioned, not the greatest three-point shooter, and we've seen that. He can sometimes hit them when he shoots them on transition. You know he's feeling a little bit hot. But man, this guy as a transition scorer and an attacking at the rim is fantastic. And we've seen him put on a plethora of dunks on some big men. We also saw him in the dunk contest. We can, think about that if you guys want to in another video. But Jaylen Brown, let's just say, is a fantastic scorer. And the fact that he's hitting away mid-rangers at the best level in the NBA is absolutely insane. Much like the stuff from Jayson Tatum. As we know, Jayson Tatum loves to take those post mid-away fadeaway jumpers as well. But Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum excelling at the mid-range game and also excelling at the three-point range game is what makes this offense so unique and so versatile. We've seen with Joe Mazzulla talking about it as well. Kristaps Porzingis being an effective paint scorer. We have all these different levels of scoring from three-pointers to posting to attacking in transition and scoring in the mid-range. And each player excels in different qualities to help out this team. I think that this is great news for Jaylen Brown. I think that this is fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you guys know that this key stat? And if so, are you shocked that Jaylen Brown is the most efficient at post field goals, fadeaways? But let's dive into the news that you all turned into for today, and that is going over Xavier Tillman and his possibility of making a debut for the Boston Celtics tonight. So if you guys do not know, the Celtics acquired Xavier Tillman for Lamar Stevens and 2 second-round picks at the trade deadline, and Xavier Tillman has yet to suit up for this Celtics team. Now, when he was acquired from Memphis, he had a little bit of knee issues and knee soreness, and he wanted to make sure that he got through that all the way before he stepped out on the court with the Boston Celtics, as he feels like he can be an integral piece to this core. And I think that he can be. Having him be on a rookie deal, we'll have to wait and see how he plays. But if he plays solid at the second half of the season and looks decent in the playoffs, getting some playoff minutes and a playoff rotation spot, I could see him being on this team for the future. But let's keep in and looking diving in. This is from another tweet from Taylor Snow here, who looked at the injury report for Chicago and said that Jaden Springer, the other Celtic that was acquired, is questionable tonight, but that means that Xavier Tillman will be available to make his Celtics debut. Now, I don't know necessarily if Tillman is for sure going to get the green light tonight. We don't know necessarily what his role is or how many minutes he will get, especially if he's coming off of injury. Joe Mazzulla might only give him some sporadic minutes here or there, but I do expect the Celtics to see Xavier Tillman in green tonight because we are playing the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Chicago Bulls, not to knock on them, but they aren't one of the best teams in the NBA. They are around 9th or 10th in the Eastern Conference. They are trying to compete for a playing spot. And in my personal opinion, I don't think they're good enough to even break the top 8. So I think it's a little bit of a bonehead decision there. But as we saw last time that we played Chicago, we obviously saw the hack of Drummond. We also saw, the rules trying to get into the play-in tournament. So the Celtics will have a different aspect of going at the Chicago Bulls tonight. Hopefully the Celtics can come out and get a fantastic and big blowout win so that we can see some Xavier Tillman minutes. If we want to look at Xavier Tillman's stats, we can see 6 points on the year, 4.6 total rebounds, and 1.7 assists on 41% shooting from the field, 22.6% shooting from three, and 42% from the free throw. So as we mentioned before, Xavier Tillman, not the greatest offensive thing. He had a good run his freshman year, finishing at the rim and shooting three. In his last couple of seasons, he just has declined in both of those aspects. But hopefully playing alongside two of the best offensive and bigger skilled bigs in the NBA, and Al Horford, who's a little bit of a veteran as a stretch four, and Kristaps Porzingis, a great rim protector, but also can be a stretch big. Hopefully they can teach Xavier Tillman some offensive tools and some offensive schemes to help him develop his offensive game as well. He can learn some of that stuff this season, or even if the Celtics keep him into the offseason. I think that Xavier Tillman, if he can develop a little bit more of his offensive game, be a big piece for this future and could be a key rotational guy going into these championship runs that the Celtics want to keep pursuing. Obviously, though, we have to wait and see how he does initially look for the Celtics. He could come out here and not be that great, but I have very, very high hopes for a guy in Xavier Tillman, a guy out of Michigan State who excels on the defensive side of the ball, and I think will be a key contributor for helping out the Boston Celtics on that side, helping out with defensive rebounds, helping out with playing great paint defense, especially when the Celtics have a lack of front court depth and also have some front court injuries or injury depth, with Al Horford having to rest on back-to-backs, Kristaps Porzingis being careful nurturing his injury, and we've seen Kornet nursing some injuries throughout the season as well. But like I mentioned, let me know in the comment section down below, are you guys excited to possibly see Xavier Tillman tonight? And if so, how many minutes do you think he will get? I'm very excited. I want to see him get 10 to 15 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see. That's just me being a hopeful fan, wanting to see the best out of my new players. But like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest. If you guys are at this point in the video and still have yet to subscribe, make sure you hit that smash that subscribe button, as we know you enjoy the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I'm Bruce Velez, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out.